I'm on Oolong Beach. No, not Oolong. I keep calling it Oolong. Oolong. I'm on Oolong Beach in Phu Quoc, which is like a little island off the bottom of Vietnam. It looks a bit more like it's in Cambodia, but it is part of Vietnam. I've been in Vietnam for 4 weeks now, and I also came for 2 weeks about 3 years ago. So 6 weeks in total, and I wanted to do a video to give you a guide of everything that you need to know when you're coming to Vietnam. Right, first up, let's start at the beginning, airports. You're either going to come into Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, and I'd recommend you just get a taxi to your accommodation. There's no point dealing with public transport when you've got all your stuff, when it's so cheap. The best taxis to get are either one called Mui Ne or Vinasun, and they're just like notorious for being a trustworthy taxi company rather than just picking up someone random off the street. When you come into Hanoi, it's about 45 minutes and I paid 300,000 dong to get into the old quarter, which is like the main bit of Hanoi. You might pay more, but I was determined that I was going to pay 300, so I did wait for about 10 minutes trying to find someone to take me for that price. But you can pay more if you want to be efficient and you want to get there, up to you. If you come into Ho Chi Minh City, it's about 15 minutes and 150,000 dong. There are 36,000 dong-ish to the pound, or that's what it is right now. So yeah, less than £10 both of them. And obviously if there's a few of you, then it's much cheaper. Talking of money, you really need to get to know the colours here. Look, check this out. So all the notes, obviously because it's such high money, with £36, yeah, 36, £40, you're a millionaire here. Because it's so high, like 1,000 dong, you can't really get anything for that. But you need to get to know the colours of the money. Because that's 200,000, and you can easily mix it up with 20,000. So you need to get to know the money and double check before you hand it over. The cost of Vietnam, I think you can do Vietnam so cheap. Things can be really cheap, but obviously because you're away and you're like, oh, they're so cheap, I'll upgrade, I'll do this. And it depends where in your travel life you are, how much you want to spend and how much you're willing to sacrifice. I've written some guides to Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi and Hoi An on my blog of how much you can expect to spend there. But if you can get accommodation for about $5 a night for a dorm bed. I haven't actually stayed in a hostel while I've been here. Oh no, I did stay in one. I did stay in one in Phu Quoc. Okay, anyway, in the city, I was thinking of the cities, Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. I've seen beds advertised for like $5. Can't guarantee how good they are because the hotels are $13. I stayed at a really cool one in Ho Chi Minh City for $13 and I had the whole of the top floor to myself, double bed, my own bathroom. I would rather just spend the extra, but it's up to you, you can do it cheap. There are some incredible hotels in Vietnam, and if there's two of you and you're willing to spend about £20 each, you can live like in one that would be hundreds in England. So I reckon if you've got a bit of money, splash out. Okay, one of the first things you'll notice when you arrive in the big cities is that the traffic is crazy. I remember before I came and I was researching Vietnam and there was a guide to crossing the road in Hanoi and I was like, I'm sure I can cross the road myself. I've been doing that for a few years now. And then I got here and I was just stood on the road and I was like, should have read that guide, because the traffic is just whizzing past you like that. There's mopeds everywhere and it's crazy. But once you start to realise that there's a certain rhythm to the cities and that you can cross, and as long as you are on your path and you don't change and you don't slow down or go faster or move or anything, the traffic will weave around you. You've got to take an overnight train while you're in Vietnam. They're part of the system, part of how it works, part of getting places, and they're a lot cheaper than flying and obviously better for the planet as well. I have taken 3, I think, in total, and it's an experience. It's an experience. I'll leave you to find that one out for yourself. Everyone has mopeds here and you can rent them anywhere you go. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them in the big cities, and I haven't done it just because driving is one thing that can be dangerous in itself, but if you're trying to find where to go when you're on a moped, it's just too much when you've got to keep your wits about you at all times. So I wouldn't recommend getting them in Ho Chi Minh City or in Hanoi. But if you're in Hoi An, that looked fun. I haven't done that, but you could rent one and go down to the beach. I do have one here in Phu Quoc and it is awesome. There's barely anyone on the roads, big wide roads, and it's not really that many places to go or that many places to go wrong, so you can just drive around and enjoy having the moped. I love it. The Vietnamese people. Right, I think it's important we talk about this because I've seen a few comments on blogs and groups that I'm in about how unfriendly the Vietnamese people are, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, I couldn't disagree more. Couldn't disagree more. I think they're as friendly as they need to be in hospitality. They're friendly and nice. I love the way when they give money over, they go like this to give you your note back. When we were going through the villages on the Intrepid tour, people would come out, like families would come out and say "Xin chào" and shout to us, and they were just really cute and nice. And I've not met anyone that I thought was rude in any situation whatsoever, so I don't know where these people are getting it from, but I feel like I've read it quite a lot, so I just needed to tell you, in case you've read those things as well, that it's not true and everyone here is as friendly as they need to be. Friendly people, but slow service. Slow service. Sometimes in the restaurants, like your food won't all come at the same time. We were in a big group, there was like 12 of us, but someone would finish before someone else had got their food. If you're in any kind of rush, you can go to the street food stalls and they'll have it ready for you straight away. Generally, people are a lot smaller in Vietnam than they are in the Western world. Here's a funny photo from my first time in Vietnam next to the banana seller lady, just to give you an example. So when you go into shops and things, don't be offended if they talk about Western sizes, because you are bigger. They're not saying you're fat, they're not saying anything like that. They're just saying that you're a Westerner and you're bigger than them. And they might laugh at you if you're like over 6 foot and you're trying to fit on their tiny little chairs that they have in the street food places and outdoor restaurants. So, you know, it's not offensive, it's just funny. Women seem to do everything in the house here. Our guide, Chi, for the Intrepid tour, told me about this, and he told me all about Confucius and their religion, and I want to read up more on it. But women will generally work, sort the kids out, do the housework, do everything, and for that reason women live a lot less time than men here. Basically work to death. Chi was telling us this, and then when we were in the villages we saw this woman and she had like so many big stacks of sticks and she was carrying them all and she was hunched like this, and then I don't know who the guy was, but I presume it was her husband, was just walking along and he just had one stick in his hand, merrily just using it as a walking stick. And I think that's just the way of life here. I asked if it was changing and she said it was a little bit, but slowly, because obviously there's a lot of resistance to that kind of change. Families live together here, like 3 generations in one house. So the oldest son will, he can go away, used to go away to the army, don't know where they go away to now, but the youngest son is expected to stay in the house, find a wife, bring her into the house as well, and then have the kids in the house, and all the 3 generations live together. She found it really strange that we don't in England, and that in the Western world they send grandparents away to retirement homes and things. He said that just does not happen here, no interest. Vietnamese people love karaoke, they love it. You can just be in a restaurant or just chilling in the street and then someone will pull up with their own karaoke system, like their own speaker, their own microphone, and they're just singing away, loving life, belting out their songs. And yeah, people just listen, even if they really can't sing, which a lot of them can't. Even when we were going through the villages, there was like big karaoke places. In the cities, you can see karaoke place one after another. When I was here 3 years ago, I was here for a wedding, and once the wedding finished at like 10, we all went and did karaoke. It was really strange. You're gonna have to get your best pointing finger out in Vietnam because not many people speak English. Even people that you might expect to, like in hotels or restaurants, just have a basic English, they don't. So unless you brush up on your Vietnamese, you're gonna have to point, gesture, use what you can to get your message across. So you are gonna have to know a few Vietnamese words. One of the most popular ones is obviously thank you, which is come on. I hope I just said that right, but our tour leader for the street food tour in Hanoi was telling me that I think it's come on is shut up and come on is thank you. So sometimes tourists will be just telling people to shut up when they're trying to be polite and say thank you. Here's a little video of her explaining it.
Yeah. Come on, make it up and make it separate. Yeah, this is thank you. And come on, make it down, make it close. This is shut up. Okay. Come on. Come on.
Hello is Xin chào, Xin chào, Xin chào. Or you can just say ciao if it's someone like your age and you're just being friendly. I have mastered about 5 words, that's it. Tourism is big business here and it's only getting bigger. There were from last January to this January, there was a 23% increase in tourists. They had 10 million last year, but they're aiming for the same as Thailand, which was like 34 million. There's redevelopment going on up and down the coast because there's such a long, really nice coastline, and other countries are starting to realise it. So they're getting loans in from everyone, from Russia to Japan, to build like bigger roads, to build hotels. And you know, things are going to change here if they want an extra 20 million tourists per year. So I'd recommend coming now. Banh mi and pho, which is spelled like pho, but it's pho, like the swear word, or the start of the swear word. Yeah, banh mi and pho, banh mi and pho are the most popular Vietnamese dishes for people to try. But you should check out my blog because I've written an article on the top 10 food to try in Vietnam, and you can widen your palate a bit. Another way to do that is to do a food tour on your first day, and then you'll get to know the food a bit more and get to know the history, and you get to eat loads as well. So I really like food tours. I think they're a really good way to discover a place. Make sure to try ban zao, which is like bean sprouts and shrimps wrapped in a pancakes. It's delicious, I love it. Or fresh spring rolls, which are shrimp and vegetables wrapped in rice paper but not fried a million times like the deep fried spring rolls. And the other thing to try is clay pots. They're like stews or curries. They're really nice, served with rice. And there's also the egg coffee that you should definitely try in Hanoi. It's really good. It sounds pretty rank, but it's really nice. Barbecue's pretty popular here. You can go and select your raw meat and then you cook it yourself at the table to how you like it. They have rice for breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's not a meal if you don't have rice. Also eggs, they eat loads of eggs here. If they offer you a Western version of breakfast, don't take it. You're in Asia, try Asian. It will not be the croissants and delicious organic muesli that you imagine, so just don't. It'll be dry cornflakes and a shitty bit of bread, so go for the Asian option. You can get a glass of beer for 5,000 dong in Vietnam. The most popular place to get this is in Hanoi at Beer Hoi corner. It's called Beer Hoi, this cheap fresh beer, and they get in like a massive keg and then sell it off for 5,000 a glass. It's a glass like that, which is about 20p, and once it's gone, it's gone. But on Beer Hoi corner there's just people everywhere drinking beer, and it's just really good people watching place, so I'd recommend that. Wine is horrible here. You're going to have to leave your wine taste buds at home. Oh, I had some Delat wine. I couldn't even drink it. That's the French. When the French took over, they brought wine with them and taught the Vietnamese to make wine, but I don't know, it was rank. I don't know if it was the grapes or what. I can drink a lot of things, but I couldn't drink that. I'd recommend to stick to beer because the cocktails super sugary. I'm not into them. Yeah, Beer Hoi, 20p. Can't go wrong. Shopping. You can get a pair of Nikes for about 200,000 here. I mean, I don't think they're real, but it's probably where Nike make them anyway. You can get sports bags for like 100,000. In Hanoi, Hoi An, you can get suits made, shirts made. I got some leopard print boots made, which I can't wait to wear when I'm in England. And it's all super cheap. You get it all made, tailor made, and loads of lanterns to buy, trinkets, nice things for your house. Like, leave some space in your suitcase. There's so much cool stuff to buy here. Actually, one of my favourite countries to buy things. I've seen so many things that I want to buy when I go back to Ho Chi Minh City on Monday. Beauty treatments are so cheap here. I had like an 80-minute hot stone massage for, I think it was 250,000, which is less than £10. And it was so nice and I felt so good after. On the bike ride, I had a really amazing massage in Hoi An. That was really good. I've had shellac, although it's coming off now. I've had shellac, I think that was about £5. I had my toenails done. I think I'm going to get a head massage and my eyebrows done when I go back to Ho Chi Minh City. It's quite expensive here on Phu Quoc. I was expecting to be like all up in the beauty salons, but no, I'm going to wait. You can get your laundry done for like $10,000 dong, not $10,000, 10,000 dong a kilo, which is 30p I think, and then they fold it up and they give it back to you all nice. So that's totally worth it. I'm actually going to wash everything before I go home because it's so cheap. No, I don't have to bother. It's really lazy, isn't it? No, supporting the local economy, that's what that is. It's fine. Attractions are around 40,000 to get in, which if you think that's the price of a dinner, like the pho and banh mi that I was talking about, banh mi would be like 10,000, pho would be 30,000, so it's not bad to get in the attractions. Might as well just do everything, it's that cheap. And all the prices on the street markets are negotiable unless they're written down, and then I guess you could try. Don't feel bad about haggling, they're not going to sell it to you if they don't make any money off it, and as a Westerner they're probably adding a few dong on anyway, so just go half and work your way up. That's what I like to do. And then finally, and most importantly, where to go. There's a few different sides to Vietnam which I think you need to include in any trip, which is sand, rice paddies and city. So make sure you get to see all three. Like, you need to get in the foresty bit, but you also need time on the beach, and you also need to see the cities. I've got, if I do say so myself, a really good 2-week itinerary on my blog, vickyflipfloptravels.com, and it goes through everything that I did the first time I came here in the 2 weeks, and then this second time I'm going to add in some options and some articles about different things that you could do just to mix up the trip a little bit. So check that out to make sure that you include everything. There's so much diversity in the places as well. Like, if we start at the top, Hanoi is the old city. It's really old, small, interesting, it's really old, lots of small places, interesting. There's lots of cute, like, interesting places to see. And then if you go down a bit to Hue, that's an old citadel, and you can go in and see the amazing old palace and learn all about the emperors. Learn all about the emperors. And then what's next? Quy Nhon. That was, I wasn't really into that. It was like super modern. A lot of people going around on those hoverboard things actually, which was quite weird. Hoi An, that's really pretty. That's like got loads of lanterns outside and lots of nice shopping. Definitely need to go there. Dalat, that's like a Viennese weird. It looked kind of like a ski village, but without the ski. It was just hot. And then Nha Trang, that's all beaches and mud baths, and yeah, that's a cool place. That's definitely over touristy though. And then where else have we got? Oh, Mui Ne, that's like kite surfing central. That's where I'd go next time. We only cycled through that, but it seemed like a cool beach surf bum kind of place. And then Ho Chi Minh City, really like it there, modern city. And there's obviously all the other places that I haven't been as well. There is a lot to Vietnam, but I've been to quite a few places, so hit me up, ask me questions. Wi-Fi is everywhere here, it's brilliant. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh have their like city-wide Wi-Fi that you can log on to, and it's powerful enough. And even when we were in like really remote places on the tour, the Wi-Fi would work, like outside petrol stations or people's houses. It was really strange. I thought I was going to be off Wi-Fi for 2 weeks, but it's brilliant, loved it. I love talking about Vietnam, it's one of my favourite places, honestly.